Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Nitya Leela Om Vishnupad Kula Churamani Srila Bhakti Rakhat Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnupad Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Rupanuga Bhargya ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswata Acharya Vrinda ki Jai. Samadvaita Vaishnava Mandali ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. All the assembled devotees ki Jai. Shri Harinama Sankirtan ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. So welcome everyone to our regular Sunday afternoon talk, being transmitted, broadcast from the East London branch, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mart. As always, we're going through the books of our Guru Varga and currently going through Affectionate Guidance by His Divine Grace Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj. And this is a collection of talks given by His Divine Grace and previously published in different periodicals and pamphlets and so on, and then compiled into a book so that they would be preserved. So this is chapter 7, Transcendental World. Brira Jarapare Shuddha Parabhyomadam Tadupare Sri Gokula Brindaranya Nam Brindavana Chintamani Chidananda Ratnakani Chinmaya Apurva Darshan Tanhi Majje Chamatkara Krishna Vanaspati Sara Nilamani Tamala Jemana Tahe Eka Svarnamoyi Latas Sarva Dhamma Joyi Utiyache Parama Pavani Hladini Shaktir Sara Mahabhava Namajara Tribhuvana Mohana Mohini. Beyond the Biraja river is the holy Dham Vaikunta. Above that is Sri Gokul, known as Vrindaranya. Vrindavan, jewel of our hearts, mine of divine gems. What a joy to see that holy beauty. In the middle, a miracle, dark lord of forest trees, appearing like a sapphire tamal. And there is a golden vine, queen of all the Dham, appearing. She's supremely gracious. She's the joy of ecstasy. Mahabhav is her name, and she charms the charmer of the world. Hladini Sara Prema, Prema Sarabhava, Bhavera Prema Kashta, Nama Mahabhava. Mahabhava Swarupini Shri Radha Thakurani, Sarva Gunakani Krishna Kanta Shiromani. These are all verses from Chaitanya Charitamrita. The essence of ecstasy is love. The essence of love is heart. And the acme of heart is called Mahabhav. And the personality of Mahabhav is our queen, Sri Radha Thakurani. She is the mine of all good, and she is the jewel of Krishna's beloved. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu composed these great things. We are not actually in the practice of reading them constantly, but I have heard such things from my Guru Maharaj. These matters are very elevated for us, but there is our goal, and she is actually our Guru, as our divine mistress. Her form is being described here. Although these are very high matters, it is necessary for us to remember them from time to time. We have our future prospect, and that is very high. Srila Kaviraj Goswami has quoted in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Motihi Kriyatam Jadi Kutopi Labhyate Tatra Lolyam Api Mulyam Ekalam Janma Koti Sukrite Na Labhyate. Real devotion to Krishna is very rarely attained. If you see that type of devotion anywhere, purchase it with your hankering, your lolyam. Only your hankering can give you your share of that property. That is the only price for that. Otherwise you cannot achieve it even after billions of lifetimes of merits. So hunger is necessary for that. And hunger will come if you make your stomach empty first. First, take some purgative and cleanse yourself, and gradually hunger will come. This cleansing means sadhu sangha. Through devotional association, you will get everything. Those who have heard about Devahuti, the mother of the Lord, when he appeared as Kapila Dev, may know about this story. Devahuti was asking Kapila Dev, "My son, I know that you are Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but how shall I reach you? The Munis, Rishis, and Yogis have so many processes, but I have no capacity to follow them. My body is a woman's body, and a woman has no right to practice in the Vedic scriptural way. Then tell me, my son, how shall I get devotion to your lotus feet?" Kapila Dev said, "Don't worry, it is very easy. It is not necessary to read many books, perform yajna or fire sacrifice, etc. Nothing like this is necessary for you. I am telling you only one point, and you are to follow this. Satam prasangam mama virja sambidho bhavanti rit karna rasayana kataha tat joshad asvapavarga vartmani shraddha ratir bhaktir anukramishati. This is from the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. By the association of the sadhus, talks revealing my super glories take place. Those talks are nectar to the pure ear and heart. Continue affectionately in this way, and rapidly you will gain first faith in myself, who am the way to purification of all evils. Then heart's devotion, and finally divine love or prema bhakti will graciously appear within your heart. Mother, associate with the sadhus and follow their directives. Then you will understand everything. Why? The sadhus are always trying to satisfy me, and you can see how they satisfy me by having their association. If they are affectionate to you, they will give that consciousness to you, and you will easily get my grace. This is the only way. Whoever follows it reaches me very quickly. And this is also my direct advice in the scriptures. In the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, we find, Ye vai bhagavat prokta upayatma labdhyaye anja punksha avid usam vidhi bhagavatam hitam. The ways for even the ignorant to reach him have been told by the Supreme Lord. Know these ways to be Bhagavat Dharma. If Bhagavan says, I like fried potato, and I give him fried potato, he will be satisfied. It is not necessary to think out what will satisfy him if he tells us what he likes. So this is the directive of Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord. He is telling you what to do. Do this, do that. This is Bhagavat Dharma. So Kapila Dev was saying, Bhagavat Dharma is what is practiced by the real sadhu. You follow that. You need the association of sadhus. And this is my final advice to you, Mother. That is, Satam Prasangam, Mamma Birja Sambidho, Bhavanti Krit, Karna Rasayanaha Kataha. They are hearing about me, Shravanam. They are glorifying me, Kirtanam. They are remembering me, Smaranam. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. They are trying to serve me in every way possible. Also, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. Serving my feet, prayer, servitorship, friendship, and self-surrender. They are offering everything to me. They try to do everything with my association. And if you associate with such sadhus, then you must also do that. There is no other work there in their association. So you must be benefited if you take advice from the sadhu and follow the sadhu's character. This is the first and last advice, and very simple advice of Bhagavan Kapila Dev. And in the 11th canto, the Lord himself also defines Bhagavat Dharma. So what is followed by the Vaishnava and written in Srimad Bhagavatam is Bhagavat Dharma. Then in the next verse we find, Yan Ashtaya Narorjuna Arjan Na Prama Dieta Karhichit Davan Nimalya Ve Netre Na Shakalen Na Pated Iha. If you take that path, you have no fear from anywhere. Just run. Whether your eyes are open or closed, it doesn't make any difference. You won't fall down. We cannot guess from here how much joy and ecstasy is there, how much happiness and enjoyment. We are trying to guess, but we cannot, because our puppy brains cannot conceive it. Everything is explained in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Srila Rupa Goswami. That is called the science of devotion. There, Srila Rupa Goswami has said, Jabatitya bhavana vartma yas chamatkara bharadbhu riddhi sattvo jvale badham swadate saraso mataha. What can we guess about that plain? It is living. The slightest idea of that ecstasy you cannot guess with your puppy brain. What can you think? You can try to imagine how great the sky is, but how will you imagine it? In your estimation, only 2 kilometers or 2 miles is great, but your brain can think, yes, the same sky is in America and in India, so some kind of broader conception is possible. Still, even that is less than a mustard seed. 1 mustard seed means 14 worlds up and down. All these planes together are called one Brahmanda, or universe, and that is like no more than a mustard seed in the presence of the divinity. Then how much can you guess? If you can surpass the ideas of your entire consciousness, then perhaps you can consider what kind of wonder that ecstasy is. Our brains are always agitating this way and that, trying to understand, but we cannot guess what kind of wonder that is. But it is. And the sages and seers, the munis and rishis, they feel for us, and for our benefit, they have compiled the Shastra to guide us, especially Srila Vedavyas. So it is not helpful to try to understand this with our tiny brains. Only when that ecstasy will come and conquer our hearts can we feel it. And we must wait for that, not try for it. This is the way to taste it. When he will come, my heart will be fulfilled within a second. That is the ecstasy, the essence given in the perfect philosophy of Vedanta. Raso Vaisaha, Rasam Ye Vayam, Labda Vandi Bhavati. If you want that ecstasy, you can try to worship that plane. Then you will get it by the mercy of the real associates of Krishna. And that is the main thing. But there is no need to be hopeless. Much hope is there. Especially in this Kali Yuga, Mahaprabhu said, Harinama, Harinama, Harinama eva kevalam. Chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra without offense, and you will get everything. Is that clear to everybody? This is Bhaktivinoda Thakur is explaining in one essay what is actual sadhu sangha. This is Gurudev telling you what Kapila Dev has instructed, and we all need sadhu sangha. But actually, what is sadhu sangha? That is, we have to understand. And he said, most people think that sadhu sangha means to seek out some saint or sadhu and try to do something to get their favor, like to feed them or give some money to them or some gift to them or some service like that. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says these are all good things, no doubt, but that isn't actually sadhu sangha. Really, what is sadhu sangha is that you will mark what are the spiritual characteristics of that person. What are that sadhu's nature? What is the sadhu's nature? And marking that, you will try to imbibe that nature within your own self. You yourself must, by the influence of the sadhu, become a sadhu. So, this is, we know, right? Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. So this is actually what sadhu sangha amounts to. Not just, physical association. Srila Guru Maharaj sometimes would say, what is the difference between the devotees and the mosquito? And he would say, the mosquito is very close to Gurudev, closer than everybody else, right there on his leg. But the mosquito wants to suck his blood. But the devotee, he wants to serve. And that's the difference. The devotee wants to serve the sadhu. And the service to the sadhu is the key. And not just service, but it means affectionate service. Affectionate service. So Mahaprabhu has told us to practice humility and to practice tolerance and to give honor to others and not to expect any honor or respect for ourselves. So this is a simple prescription, but not so easy to do. And I remember once, what we used to call the veranda crew was the group of devotees that were directly serving Srila Govinda Maharaj in his last days on his veranda. He was staying in our Dum Dum Park temple in Calcutta, and the devotees that would serve him on his veranda, they became known as the veranda crew. So there were maybe 10 devotees that were serving him every day, like in intimate ways. And but they're not always getting on with each other. There were two girls particularly that they just clashed all the time. Their heads butted all the time. They couldn't see eye to eye, and they just couldn't like each other for some reason. So then one day, one of those girls, they came to Gurudev and said to him, "Do you know, Maharaj, I just can't stand this person. I just can't stand them." And Gurudev said, "No, you have to practice tolerance." "I'm trying to tolerate. I'm trying." No, you must tolerate. And there is no other way. You must tolerate. So, okay, I'll try, Maharaj, I'll try. Then after a few days, or maybe a week or a few weeks or something, she came again to Gurudev. "Maharaj, I'm trying to tolerate, but I cannot tolerate. I cannot stand them. Can't stand them, Maharaj." And I am, and Gurudev said, "No, I told you have to tolerate." "I am trying to tolerate." He said, "But you have to tolerate with affection. That toleration must be with affection, not just like grit your teeth. And you have to be affectionate to the devotee, even if you don't like them." And that's the nature of this world, right? We don't get along with everybody. Sometimes we know, sometimes there's just something about somebody that just rubs you the wrong way, something about their personality. We all have that experience in life. Often, I can say, it's probably because they're reflecting something that we have in ourselves that we don't like. But still, we have to be tolerant, and but tolerate with affection. So once when I was leaving Navadvip, coming back to London, I said, "Maharaj, do you have any message for the devotees in London?" And he said, "Yes, Prabhu, I do." He said, "You tell them that whatever happens, they have to tolerate that. And in their life, whatever happens, they have to tolerate that until it becomes completely intolerable. And then they will have to tolerate that also." So then Gurudev would say, of all these things, humility, tolerance, giving honor, tolerance is the one that will give you everything, to become tolerant. And you can't fake tolerance. Maybe for a short time you can fake, but you can't fake tolerance. You can fake humility. "Oh yes, I'm very fallen person." And you can fake giving honor to others. "Yeah, this is a great person," and but tolerance you can't. You can't fake that. Either you're tolerant or you're not. And we know, right, how tolerant we are. Especially, and I always say this, and you're probably sick of me saying it, but especially if you drive a car, then you know how tolerant you are, right, of others. You're always like, "Well, you stupid idiot," like, "What's he doing?" Then we know we're not very tolerant. And if we're on the train and somebody accidentally steps on our foot, immediately we're like ready for a fight. So then tolerance is very difficult, but also not possible to fake, actually. And we heard, I remember when I first came to the temple, the first temple that I came to was Bury Place in London, up in London. And at that time there was the devotee president in charge there. His name was Hare Krishna Das. And he was telling me that there was one man who used to come there, and whenever they would open the curtains, to show the deity, give darshan of the deity, that man, he would like faint in a swoon, "Oh, like Krishna," and he'd faint in a swoon, like in ecstasy. And then he asked him, "This man always coming doing this, what should we do? Every time he faints and we don't know what to do, Gurudev." And Prabhupada said, "Kick him in the head." And, they were like, "What?" He said, "Yes, kick him in the head. And if he still remains in his trance, then you make your obeisances to him." So, because Prabhupada knew you can't fake that. You can, maybe you can make some show. But when somebody comes to kick you in the head, then we'll see if that is real or not. And we heard from Gurudev, one of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's preachers, sannyasi preacher. Once when he was in Vrindavan, he came upon a group of, they're called Sakhi Beki. Sakhi Beki means they dress as gopis, men, but they dress as gopis. And their idea is that just by imagining that they're gopis, they'll be gopis. So then a party of them came, and this devotee, Saraswati Thakur Sannyasi, he challenged them, and their leader came forward, and they were having some heated debate. And Gurudev said, very soon the man came out. So we're trying to deal with reality, not with just a theory or some sentimental idea.
All right, in what you read, last page or two, Gurudev said not to try for it, but to wait for it.
Yes. Yeah, because that is the ascending and descending method. So one is called Avaroha Panta and Aroha Panta. So that we are followers of the descending method of devotion. You can't force your way up there by your practice or by your sadhana or any way. Not possible to force your way into the realm of the divine. You can only have access to that if it descends on you. So Gurudev means, don't try and push your way in there, just by reading so many things or, whatever you think by your intellect that you can, force your way in there by understanding all of these things. Gurudev said to one devotee, why in your head you're carrying a Himalaya mountain of book knowledge? There's a huge weight on your head. What is the use of that, actually, Then there's, as his Kapila Dev told to Devahuti, the only necessary thing is to get the association of the sadhu and hear from them. And hear from them means you have to follow what they say, not just he said some very nice things, but I'm off now, back to the ordinary life as before, same as before, and hopefully more successful now because I had the association of a sadhu. No, that must be meaningful, and it must have some effect on you. When Gurudev was in New York, there was one famous devotee, famous within ISKCON as a big scholar, and he came to see Gurudev. And every day he's asking many difficult questions about Siddhanta, Gaudiya Siddhanta, and Gurudev answering his questions. Then maybe after 4 days or so, then when that devotee came again, he said, "So Prabhu, you are my answers. You like my answers or not? My answers good or not good?" He said, "Oh, Maharaj, very good, amazing. I could not, expect such answer to my questions." And then he said, "Oh, then what will you do now with those answers? What will you do?" And he was a bit puzzled. "Not sure I know what you mean, Maharaj." And he said, "Well, all these days you've been asking so many questions and I've been giving so many answers to you. Then if you're happy, if you're satisfied with my answer, then you must come with me." And he said, "Oh, Maharaj, I haven't got any money, I can't go with you." But Gurudev didn't mean in a physical sense, get an air ticket and come back to India. He didn't mean that. I mean, although that would maybe be okay also. But he meant, that what I've told you, now you have to implement that in your life. It has to change your life. Otherwise, he said, then you've been wasting your time and you've been wasting my time too. isn't it? I'm giving all this time for you, answering all these questions and so on, but your life is just remaining the same, or will it change your life? So this is what we want by the association of the sadhu, that it will change us. We have to believe that, Although we all know, it says you can't teach an old dog new tricks. But actually we don't believe that. Our hope is that we can change. And we can see that also in the lives of others. And I can tell you, without mentioning any names, I've been trying to practice Krishna consciousness for nearly 50 years. And I've seen people come and their whole life change. Half crazy people, and we're all a bit half crazy sometimes, and coming to the feet of Gurudev and then becoming like really great devotees, like really dedicated souls, giving their life for Mahaprabhu's mission, Mahaprabhu's religion of love. It touched them so deeply, they wanted to give their life for that. Then, we've seen it, and we are also, some small portion of that maybe also come within us, a little bit, Once Srila Guru Maharaj told us once, they came to Saraswat Thakur, a group of like senior sadhu sannyasi devotee. They came and they said, "We have something we want to say to you, Guru Maharaj, but we're a little bit embarrassed to say. And also, not just embarrassed, but maybe that you'll be unhappy with us, upset with us. And so we're a little reluctant to say." But Saraswat Thakur, he said, "No, you tell what that is. Please tell what that is." Actually, it is our feeling that after practicing for so many years, we still don't substantially have that anything within us, We still don't feel that we've made any real progress in spiritual life, After 10 years or 20 years or whatever it was, then Saraswat Thakur said, "Really? That's your feeling?" "Yes." "And all of you?" "Yes, that's all of us, yes." Then he said, "Oh, then I'm very happy to hear that." So because if you'd come to me and said, "Oh, after all this time, we think we're really becoming advanced in Krishna consciousness," then that would mean that you were very far away from that. Because bhakti is something that's measured in the inverse. No real Vaishnava thinks that they have Krishna consciousness. And Srila Guru Maharaj would say that bhakti is peculiar in its nature, that you cannot trace it in yourself, but you can see it in others. And by seeing it in others, that shows its substance, that how it transforms the life of others. And you may not feel it in yourself. He said, but Saraswat Thakur said, but the proof that you do have something is you're still here and you're still serving. Why are you doing it? Why? Then there's like Srila Govinda Maharaj said once, if this were just some cheating thing, I would have left it a long time ago. Because maybe I can't do anything good for you, but I don't want to do anything bad for you. But we know that it's real, it's not cheating, because the scripture and the saints, they have proven it to be real. The Krishna consciousness is reality. In fact, this was Guru Maharaj's question to the ISKCON leaders that came to him after Prabhupada's disappearance. With so many questions, Srila Prabhupada A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami told them, when I am gone, if you have any question about philosophy or anything, you can approach my godbrother Sridhar Maharaj. He said, because I know from the very beginning he is a pure devotee of Krishna. And Prabhupada, meaning Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and Krishna liked that he would prepare me. And this is all, I'm not just saying this, is documented in his biography by Satsvarup Das Goswami's biography. lifetime of preparation. You can find it there, almost word for word that. I knew from the very beginning he is a pure devotee of Krishna, and Prabhupada and Krishna liked that he would prepare me. Then they came, the leaders, leading devotees after Prabhupada's disappearance, came to see Guru Maharaj. They're asking many questions about how to proceed. And then finally, not finally, but one day, maybe 3-4 days in, then they came before Guru Maharaj, and Guru Maharaj said, so, you're asking so many questions, but this morning I have a question to ask you. Oh, yes, what is that question, Maharaj? They all said, and Guru Maharaj said, can you tell me what is Krishna consciousness? And they all gave some idea, their idea, what is Krishna consciousness, as best as they could. Kirtanananda Maharaj says, oh, what Prabhupada taught us, that is Krishna consciousness. And Guru Maharaj liked that, but he said, yes, all right, but what did Prabhupada teach you that is Krishna consciousness? Anyway, they gave different answers, but none of them satisfied Guru Maharaj. And then finally, they said, all right, Maharaj, please, you tell us what is Krishna consciousness. And Guru Maharaj said to them, Krishna consciousness is reality, and you would be very much benefited to become acquainted with that. So we're not dealing with a theory or, some kind of a superstition or even a belief. We're dealing with reality. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he coined this phrase, search for Sri Krishna, reality the beautiful. So we hear it often, don't we? People say, like, wake up to the reality of life, the harsh reality of life, But we don't think that reality is harsh. We believe, because we heard it from our Gurudev, that reality is beautiful. And not just beautiful, but the beautiful. He is beauty personified. And beauty will save the world. This is what we learned from Guru Maharaj. Reality, the beautiful. His thinking was like this always. One morning when we sat with Guru Maharaj, we sat down, and he was in a very effusive mood, and with big grin on his face. He looked at us and he said, reality is dancing. What do you think about that? We're like, yeah, Maharaj, if you say so. Reality is dancing. This is natural, because he is tasting his own ecstasy, and that ecstasy he is showing that by dancing. This was the German philosopher Nietzsche. Nietzsche said, I could only believe in a God that was a good dancer. So there you are, Mr. Nietzsche. Krishna is a good dancer. The reality, the dancing reality, Krishna. One time recently I told in a class, oh yes, Krishna is Nataraj. And then afterwards one devotee, he wanted to correct me. No, actually, that is Lord Shiva, Nataraj. And Krishna is Natadwar or something like that. Okay. But actually, there is a story in the Purana that when Parvati was with Lord Shiva, Mahadev, then she's telling, oh, you are Nataraj, and your dance very famous. Will you see that picture of him standing, dancing like that, very famous. And then Lord Shiva said, you want to see dancing? And he took her to Vrindavan, and there Krishna was performing his rasa dance with the cowherd girls, and Lord Shiva was able to see that, and also Parvati. And when she saw that, every moment she could only say, "Oh, Nataraj, Nataraj, Nataraj." So sometimes Krishna, they call Krishna Adi Nataraj. Adi Nataraj. He's the origin of the king of dance, because also Lord Shiva is also dancing to Ram Nam, to the name of the Lord. That causes him to dance. Krishna is the cause of all causes. Sarva Karana Karanam, the Lord of all lords. This is Krishna. And somehow or another we have come in connection with that Krishna in our life. This is a very wonderful thing. Yes.
Well, you said you have to tolerate affection in human people we don't get on with. Have you got a personal example of yourself or from somebody you know?
Yeah. I can say definitely that some devotees, we don't always get along with everybody, and I'm no exception to that. And I'm sure some devotees find me annoying or whatever as well. But it means we have to, stand back a little bit and divorce ourselves from our own emotional response to something or someone, and try to see the goodness in them. Everybody has some goodness in their heart, and what to speak of the devotees. So this was Saraswati Thakur's policy, that if he would, every now and again he would hold a Ishtagosti, like a meeting of the devotees where they could all talk about their any problems or things that they had difficulty with. And if he could see that there was maybe two devotees that didn't get on with each other, then he would say to them one at a time, "Please say something in praise of your brother." And then Guru Maharaj said, then they would have to dive deep into the bright side of that person. Not just, he wouldn't accept anything like, yeah, he's a nice guy, not just some superficial thing, but no, tell something real about the goodness of that person. You have to dive deep into that person and see that. Then if we understand that, and if we understand that, first of all, in the heart of all living beings, Krishna is there. So therefore everyone deserves our respect, just from that point, that everyone is part and parcel of Lord Krishna. So, but, maybe we don't see that part of them, but we see just the external part of them. But if we can understand that potentially everybody is a devotee of the Lord, and sometimes we say, "There but by the grace of God go I," and we see somebody suffering, or somebody behaving in a particular way, but by the grace of God, that could be me. That could be me doing that or like that, Then, and also, like, I have this feeling in my experience that everybody needs a second chance, and not just a second chance, but another second chance, and another, and another, and another, because I think that the Lord is the Lord of second chances, and one day I may need a second chance. So if I don't have in my heart enough love and respect for others to give them another chance, then why will the Lord give me another chance when I need it? So this way we can think, that yes, everyone is, and especially the devotees of the Lord, they are deserving of our respect. Srila Rupa Goswami has told this in his Upadeshamrita. Who chants the name of Krishna even once, we are, in our mind, we are to give honor to them. Who is initiated into the chanting of the holy name by a genuine spiritual master, we are to make our obeisance to that person. And who their every moment, their every waking or even sleeping moment is only for the satisfaction of their Lord Krishna. We are to try and serve that person with a genuine affection and honor to them. Everyone, even if somebody telling the name of Krishna as a joke, we are to honor that, we are to respect that, and try to see the good in everyone. And this is, who can see that? Or who refuses to see the bad in anybody, then that means they will only see good in themselves also. There's a verse in the Bible, I remember, it says, the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. So then we see that, right? That generally people, what they speak is a reflection of who they are in their heart. So, then our Guru Maharaj would say, don't be a drain inspector. So there's a beautiful flower garden here, and over here there's a garbage tip. Why are you giving attention to the garbage tip when there's a beautiful flower garden over here? This is an unfortunate part of human nature, that we always want to look at the rubbish. We always want to look at the dirt and raking through that and getting some kind of pleasure from that. But Guru Maharaj said, don't be a drain inspector, because if you put your head down inside the drain, everyone knows what you're going to become covered in, isn't it? That's all you're going to find down in the drain. So don't look there even, Try to look at the good in others. And there is some rasa in finding fault with others. Definitely. There's some pleasure that we get from that. Otherwise, why is the news agents full of all these gossip magazines, They're absolutely full of them. And the best-selling newspaper, the red top newspapers, they're all just gossip rags. That's all they are. There's no news in them. It's just, anyway, you know what's in there. And that's the most popular, because people want that. They like a diet of that. And especially they like to find someone who they can, put up on a pedestal. And the media does that, right? Put somebody up on a pedestal, and then all the time they're looking to find something. Some Jai Shishi Guru Varanga Radha Sham Sundar. Some gossip or some scandal to bring them down. And everybody, I always knew I always thought it was like that, And it makes us kind of feel better about ourselves somehow. When we see the failure and the suffering of others, it makes us feel good about ourselves, and that's a very bad trait of human nature. So this is why it's said, the sadhu is para dukkha dukhi. That means that a sadhu, he has no want for himself or any desire for himself, but he sees the suffering of others as his own suffering. That's the nature of the sadhu. Not that they are unhappy because somebody else isn't getting what they want in life and that's causing them suffering. They're unhappy because they're not getting enlightenment in their life. So we read this in Jaiva Dharma, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, when someone passed away And he said all the Vaishnavas, they were very unhappy that someone else had left the world without getting Krishna consciousness. That's their unhappiness that they feel. You know, not anything other than that. Just the nature of the sadhu is always that they always want to help others. You know this story, right, about the sadhu and the scorpion. The sadhu comes to the banks of the river one night, and he needs to cross the river, but there's no bridge, there's no boat, the only way is he's going to have to swim across the river, right? So he's preparing himself to swim across the river, and then a scorpion comes up and says, you know, I want to cross the river too. So if you agree, when you're swimming across, I can sit on your head and you can carry me across. The sadhu says, yes, I'll take you, but you have to promise me not to sting me. Because if you sting me, then I'll die and you'll die too. You understand that, right? Yes, I won't sting you, I promise. Okay, climb on. So the scorpion climbs on, and the sadhu starts swimming across the river. And about halfway across, the scorpion stings him. And, oh, you stung me. He says, yes. He said, you promised you wouldn't. He said, yes, but I'm a scorpion, and that's what I do. You know, that's like, it's my nature. I sting. That's what I do. I can't help it. Then the sadhu said, yes, I know that. And he said, so if you knew that, why did you agree to carry me across? He said, because I'm a sadhu, and that's what sadhus do. So, you know, then, even at their own expense, the sadhu may sacrifice themselves for the good of others. They cannot do anything else. That's their nature.
Just for my benefit, can you explain that psychology of seeing the worst in others?
Can I explain it? Well, it's just a trait of human nature, isn't it? You know, it's a kind of gives us some pleasure, makes us feel good about ourselves. Yeah, I knew it was like that. Makes you feel righteous about your own self. Thinking that we can judge others, but, you know, that's also, we find that in the teachings of Lord Jesus, right? Judge not, lest you be judged. Let he who is without sin, let him cast the first stone. That was happening, right? There was Mary Magdalene, right? She was a prostitute, and then they were stoning her, and Christ came and said, what's happening here? Oh, she's a prostitute and she is to be stoned to death. So they're all like throwing stones at her, and then Christ says, he who is without sin, let him cast the first stone. Then they all had to walk away. Because, you know, none of us are, you know, paragons of virtue that we can stand in the judgment of others. So judge not, lest you be judged. And if we want mercy in our life, and Krishna consciousness is all about divine mercy, then we also have to be merciful to others. That means we have to try to give the benefit of the doubt to others, not to look there, you know, whatever that is. Don't look there, look somewhere else. Not everyone, there's no such thing as like pure evil, and there's no such thing as like pure good. In general, amongst humans, we're all flawed, right? We all have, you know, the Tom and Jerry cartoon where you got the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other. Go on, do it. No, don't do it. We all have that, right, in our lives. We've got that influence there, the good and the bad. All the time we're being tempted in this way to do good or to do bad. And unfortunately, generally, it's the devil on the shoulder who gets the best reception generally, you know. They promise all kinds of things. But that means we have to be a little bit strong, and we have to try and raise ourselves up from that. The nature of the material world is that it always pulls us down. It's like gravity. It's gravity that keeps us here. But if there were no gravity, we could all fly, couldn't we? So if we don't want to be affected by the gravity of this material world, we have to do something to go up. To go down is easy because the material nature facilitates that all the time. But if we want to go up, if we want to raise ourselves up, then that means we need to give something of ourselves. We need to work at that. We need to try to be better than we are. And that's where sadhana comes in. Sadhana isn't just some mindless repetition of a mantra or something like that. It means to work on yourself, to improve yourself, to nurture your inner life. We all have the external life in the world and so on, but we can also have and should have our internal life, and our internal life should be molded by our spiritual aspiration, and that should be guided by Guru and Vaishnava and Scripture. Then if we're always following in that way, then we should always be moving upward. But Guru Maharaj would say, sadhana bhakti is like riding a bicycle. You have to keep pushing the pedals forward. Once you stop, you can freewheel for a little while, but eventually you're going to fall off the bike, isn't it? So spiritual practice is something that we have to always do. We have to be pushing the pedals forward all the time, as much as we can, and relying on the grace of the Lord. But if we expect the grace of the Lord, then we also have to be gracious to others. This is the point. So this is a materialist's way of seeing things, is by when you make yourself the subject of your life, if you like, to make you are the Lord of all you survey, or in other words, the master of your own little universe. So dear Goswami says, the master of your skull-shaped kingdom. You're the master there, but we don't want to be the master of anything. We want to be the servant of the divine. Because where everybody else is the center of their universe, and sooner or later, my universe is going to come into clash with your universe. Then what do we do? Then there's a fight, or at least a compromise there. So where there are many, then there is necessary for there to be law and for there to be justice. But when there's only one, those things aren't necessary. When everyone is in harmony, that we are all dedicated to serving the one, then everything will be perfectly done. So we need to try to look in that way. Guru Maharaj says we should always be looking up for the higher service opportunity, not looking down for people and things that we can exploit. Always try to look up. And that means it requires something from our side. We have to try. And Guru Maharaj would say, the virtue is its own reward. That you are trying, that's the most important thing, that you are trying. Because we're not dealing with an impersonal absolute, we're dealing with the most personal absolute. Krishna is the supreme person, the supreme personality of Godhead, and he is all mercy, all kindness, all beauty, all harmony, everything that we may consider to be good, and so much more than that. And he is our master, he is our goal, he is what we are striving to acquire, his service. Then we should never forget that. We should always try to see everything in that in relation to that, then we're going in the right direction. At least we're going in the right direction.
Can I ask a quick question?
Please do.
We read earlier on the Devashis praying to Kapila Dev for his association, but his answer was Saraswat. But is that just meant for us because she already has his association as his mother, or does she praying for maybe association with him as Krishna or what?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's true. But she's, like in all of these scenarios, she's representing us again, you know? So Devahuti is mother of the Lord, but she's also like his disciple too. So she's asking that question. Yeah, you're right. You know, I mean, if anybody has Kapila Dev's association through divine affection, it's Devahuti. But she's saying, in a more general way, in a more general sense, how can I acquire you? You know, how can I attain to you as Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead? So she's asking on our behalf, what should we do? And he's giving this answer to her. He could have just said, "What are you talking about, Mum? You know, you're my mum. Of course you have my association. You have me. You know, in every way you have me." But her question is a very deep spiritual question that she's asking on our behalf, and he's answering, giving that answer for us, for all of us. The teachings of Kapila Dev. A very wonderful thing.
Prabhuji,
Yeah.
today is Akshaya Tritiya.
Yes.
Sorry, I came late. Maybe you have explained.
Generally, it's considered a very good day to start something new, and a good day for new beginnings, and for auspiciousness is given generally if you are in that consciousness and you want to begin some venture with that consciousness, you can go forward with that. Akshaya Tritiya is a very good day for that.
Is the incarnation day of Lord Parshurama here or not today?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's not on our. It's not in our calendar, but I don't think it is anyway. So, it's Shakti-Vesh Avatar. Parashuram Shakti-Vesh Avatar. But when he heard that Ramchandra had broken Lord Shiva's bow, then he thought he should come and challenge him. You know, like what you've made aparad to Lord Shiva, and they fought. You know, they fought. And Guru Maharaj said, at that time, then Ramchandra took away his Shakti. So that he was Shakti Vesh Avatar, that means he was empowered by the Lord. But after his fight with Ramchandra, that Shakti gone. But worshipable to us, no doubt. Worshipable to us. Many wonderful things in the scripture.
I mean, you just mentioned about auspicious day. Well, we've also heard that Seva is more important than the auspicious day, because example has been given about Guru Dev, you know, and to break the fast and things like that. So,
Yeah, there's in the scripture. There's general and specific advice. So some is general and some is universal. So general means like, you know, according to the time, place, circumstance, all of these things. But we saw that our Guru Maharaj, he used to consult the Panjika to see, like if it wanted to do something, what's an auspicious day to do that, you know. So like every kind of, everything may help with that. But we also saw that when Srila Govinda Maharaj was traveling in the West, he didn't consult the Panjika. He used to say, it only works in India. So, you know, then...
Is that right? Why is that?
Because it's made for that, you know. So it maybe have some relevance outside of India, but India's it's the holy land, you know. We mustn't forget that. It has its own special energy, yeah, it's a fact. And somebody asked this question, right? Why is it that Krishna and his avatars, they always appear in India? Why is it always in India? And the answer to that was, why do you go to a golf course to play golf? You understand? Because it's made for that. It's designed for that. So, you know, then that's why. That's why. Of course, the Lord may also advent in other places too, but generally we see there, you know.
Well, definitely it works in India because, you know, for the marriage or for the childbirth.
Yeah, all of it, yeah.
There are so many Brahmins involved.
Yes, yes.
And here, you know, anytime marriage, anytime, you know, Saturday, Sunday, that's it.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, like, anyway, that was Gurudev's take on it, you know. He didn't really consult the Panjika outside of India. Just like...
I was referring to the incident where,
his Sanskrit teacher. His Sanskrit teacher's name was Lakshmikanta. And he was a disciple of Guru Maharaj, but he was a professor of Sanskrit at Calcutta University. So Guru Maharaj sent Govinda Maharaj to finish his Sanskrit education as a student of Lakshmikanta in Calcutta. And that time he stayed in the house of Prabhupada's house at Sitakanta Banerjee Lane when he was Abhay Charan Babu. And he was a chemist. He was a chemist. He was the Bengal representative of Bosch Chemicals, and he had his own laboratory and everything. But that was how he made his living then. And Guru Maharaj said, you stay with Abhay Babu, and he's writing a commentary on Bhagavad Gita, so you can learn Bhagavad Gita from him. So then Gurudev every day, he would meet with Prabhupada and Prabhupada would teach him Gita. Then he would go in the day to the university to study under Lakshmikanta. But Lakshmikanta, although he was godbrother of Govinda Maharaj, because he was teaching him, he thought he was his guru, you know, like had that relationship, like guru-disciple relationship. He said, why you're learning Gita from Abhay Babu? You should learn Gita from me. He is a householder. I'm a brahmachari, he told, like proudly, you know. And then he said, Abhay Babu, he has kumkum on his head. So Govinda Maharaj said, as a young man, I didn't understand what he meant by that, you know. He said, but I knew it wasn't anything complimentary. It was an insult, you know. It means he's been embracing with a woman and the kumkum has come on his head. That's what the meaning is, right? So he said, Govinda Maharaj said, you know, I was a 17-year-old boy. I didn't really understand what all that meant. Then he said, when I came home in the night and I knocked on his door, and he said, he came to the door and he'd been cooking, you know, his really red, flushed face. And Govinda Maharaj said, I said to him, oh, Prabhu, why is your head so red? Is it kumkum? And he said, no, why'd you say that? And he said, oh, because Lakshmi Kanta said you got kumkum on your head. He said, no, you can try and like take it off if you want, as I'm cooking. Anyhow, so then later on, he was at the, they were both in the mott in Navadvip, and that time there was an eclipse was going to take place in on that day. And you know, the scriptural advice is, if there's an eclipse, first of all, don't look at the eclipse because it's inauspicious. People do look at the eclipse, but it's meant to be an inauspicious thing to look at an eclipse. So, and to counteract the inauspiciousness of the eclipse, you should take bath in a sacred river, or you know, some holy river or like that. So this was due on that day, and so that Lakshmi Kanta was there, and he said to Govinda, hey, Gorendu, which was his name then, now eclipse is coming, you and I, we should go together and take bath in the Ganga. And he said, yes, Prabhu, you go ahead, I'll join you when I can, but I have some service to Guru Maharaj I have to do first. He said, no, time is coming. You know, then you miss it, it'll be very bad. He said, yeah, you go, Prabhu, I have to do this service. Then he said, what do you mean? Why the scripture says this, and he's quoting all the verses, references, everything. And he says, yes, Prabhu, I know that, but my service to Guru Maharaj is like overrides that. No? Then he said, oh, let's go and see what Guru Maharaj has to say. Lakshmi Kanta says, let's go and see what Guru Maharaj says. So he marches up with Gorendu, like the naughty boy. He's got him, you know, like taking him up to Srila Guru Maharaj. And he said, I told this boy that the eclipse is coming, we should go and take bath in the Ganges. And he says he has some service for you that's more important. What do you say? And Guru Maharaj said, yes, he is correct, and you are wrong. Service of Guru is more than some local, you know, relative idea about that. And then that Lakshmi Kanta said, oh, if that is your conclusion, then I cannot be your disciple anymore. And then Guru Maharaj said, put his hands to his head, he said, oh, thank you very much. And that was the end of Lakshmi Kanta, never to be seen again. So it's fact that there is always in the scripture a relative and absolute consideration. So the important thing is that when those two come to clash, and they will at some point, you have to give preference to the absolute consideration, not the relative consideration. So, and that may be all kind of, you know, like social custom or, you know, even scriptural advice. But some things are absolute and some things are relative. And one is may come to clash with the other. They call that, you know, throwing out the baby with the bathwater. You have to be careful not to throw out the baby with the bathwater. So, you know, then to understand what is relative and what is absolute. It's not always easy to see that because we always see external things. But the external things may not always be the most important thing. Guru Maharaj would say, what is more important, the nose or the breath? And it says, so, you know, people have plastic surgery to make their nose beautiful, don't they? You know, they're not unhappy with the nose that God gave them. So they have some, it's called rhinoplasty, right? To have a plastic surgery on your nose. But okay, but if you can't breathe through that nose, what's the use of it, however pretty it may look, you know? But even without a nose, if you can breathe, then you can live. So this is the principle that always the absolute consideration should take preference over the relative consideration, but need to be able to see which is which. So, you know, sometimes because even the absolute sometimes is couched in the relative. So, then someone... There was a devotee in the time of Prabhupada. His name was Bali Mardan, and he was a sannyasi, Bali Mardan Maharaj, in America. And one lady was coming to the temple, and she convinced him that she was the heiress to the Fiat Empire.
Toyota.
Or was it Toyota? Okay. Anyway, some like car thing, right? Then and so because of that, he tried to how do you say, woo her? He thought I could get a big donation for Prabhupada, and that would be very good. But he went a bit too far and ended up leaving his sannyas and marrying this lady, right? But not only that, that's one thing. But worse than that, she liked to eat chicken. And so he convinced the devotees in the temple it was all right to offer a bit of chicken to the deities. So they were offering chicken to the Lord on the altar. And obviously, when Prabhupada found out, he stamped it down. And then he came there and he said, why did you all go along with that? And they said, oh, he's our authority. We were just following our authority, And Prabhupada said, don't you have a brain? Didn't Krishna give you a brain to understand? So, then this is again. And he actually became a follower of Rajneesh. And because he was quite a big figure in the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. And before he joined Rajneesh didn't have any books. After Bali Mardan, he had all these books came out. Anyway, that's just a by the way thing. But sometimes crazy things happen because people say, well, he was the authority. Isn't that what they used the plea they used to have why they were torturing the Jews in the concentration camps? We're just following our authority. We're just following the authority. No, you have to use your brain. Krishna gave you a brain. You can discriminate with what is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong. Not just a blind follower. Don't be a blind follower.
Maybe they also wanted to eat chicken.
Maybe, I don't know. But we know for sure, whether they wanted to eat or not, Krishna does not want to eat chicken. He doesn't eat chicken. And you can't offer something to Krishna that he doesn't like. Probably.
Maybe at the time of Krishna there was no chicken at all. Because we ever not saying this murga, murgi in any shastras. Maybe it's a Vishwamitra creation of this all.
Who knows? But there's something there, In near to Kalighat in Calcutta, then one of Guru Maharaj's godbrothers has a mott there. Bhakti Doita Madhav Maharaj, his mott is near Kalighat. And sometimes he would send me, because this was before internet and email and all of these things. So sometimes Guru Maharaj would send me to Calcutta with a letter for Madhav Maharaj. And also Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj used to stay there when he was in Calcutta. Sometimes there was some communication and I would, have to take that. And the route I would take, I'd go past the Kalighat temple, Very famous, that temple. Big temple. But I've not been inside, but they have the Murti of Kalima and a big wok in front of that, and just throwing goats in the wok and cooking in front of her, Then as I'm going by, because I'm dressed like this, going by, then some of the priests outside, they go, Haribol, Prabhu, come and have some prasadam, they say, and laughing. Come and have some Kali prasadam. next time, I'd say next time, go by. You know, this is Kali Kata, the place of Kali. And Gorkishore Babaji used to say to Saraswati Thakur, don't go to Calcutta, it is the place of Satan. Don't go there, don't go there. Why are you going there? And Saraswati Thakur's reply was, I like to try to preach the glories of from your lotus feet in the most contaminated place. I want to go there. And that Guru Maharaj said that was his modus operandi, was that he wants to capture all the strongholds of Maya. And Guru Maharaj said, just like if you go to wage war on another country, the first thing you have to do is take out their communication system. If you can take control of their communication system, the battle's half won. What do they used to call that? Filibuster, or, you know, they're giving false propaganda. And it's a tactic that they used for a long time, and some are still using today. So, you know, then Guru Maharaj said once I had to go to Krishnagar, to the court there, on behalf of Saraswati Thakur. Some court case was being held there, and one of the lawyers there, he said, why you Gaudiya Math sadhus always going to court? He said, surely you should just be like living in the forest, right, and chanting Harinam. Like, why are you going to the court? And he said, and Guru Maharaj said, I told him, my Guru Maharaj isn't that kind of sadhu. He's not like the retiring sadhu. He's going to come wherever Maya is strongest and take his stance there and preach from there. Then he said, my Guru Maharaj is that kind of sadhu. And here we are as a result of that.
Prabhu, there is a flute, Krishna's flute. It's also called Murli and Bansi.
Yeah, three. He has three flutes.
Yeah.
Primary, Vangsi, Murali, and Venu, Vangsi, and Murali. Yeah.
So why you need three?
I don't know. You'd have to ask him.
Is it for different people?
I don't know. Maybe, you know.
Different tone.
Yeah, different. They're different size and different length and all of these things, you know. And maybe not just three. Maybe he has more. But those are the principal ones. Krishna's flutes.
But in this sloka it says, Gayatri Murli has to keep the Nam.
Yeah.
So this Gurudev has used Murli.
Yeah, Murali. Yes, could have been a different one, but they used that one. Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe intelligently, if you think like when he was young, he has a similar, different kind of the length, and then he was grown up.
No, I was thinking one for just Vrindavan, Gopi, only them can listen. Other one maybe, you know, for anybody, you know, they can listen.
No, I mean Krishna, the flute player Krishna is only always in Vrindavan.
Yeah.
In Mathura, he's not playing his flute, or Dwarka. He's not playing his flute there. He plays his flute in Vrindavan, Vrindavan. Then
musicians normally have more than one instrument.
yeah, of course, yeah. Murali Dhara. Then the gopis there, they are praising that flute. They say, and I only say this because I heard it from Guru Maharaj. It's above my pay level for sure. They say, you know, that the gopis, they're saying, what kind of austerity did the mother and father of that gnarled up piece of bamboo do that their son became the beloved flute of Krishna? And he said, what we aspire for, that bamboo flute has that all the time. That means that flute tasting Krishna's kisses all the time. And we want that. What kind of austerity did his mother and father do that he became Krishna's beloved flute? Hare Krishna. Muralida Venu. Veni Madhava, another name of Krishna. And Vangsi Bihari is also Krishna's name. And Krishna, here, Shyam Sundar's flute, he has two flutes, yes, more, but two flutes. One is silver flute, and one is gold flute. And it is pure gold, that flute, 24 karat gold, that flute is made. And they're made by Krishna Priya, the wife of Paramananda Prabhu in Thailand. She's a jeweler. And she made it with her own hand, made those flutes for Shyama Sundar and sent them here. It is small flute. Why Dainidhi Prabhu says that is because, in Navadvip, then somebody donated for Govinda Sundar, Guru Maharaj's Govinda Sundar, there one tilak of which has rubies and diamonds and sapphires and all precious gems and in gold. Yeah. And he's wear that tilak. Then it was very, what would you say, valuable, very valuable, monetary-wise, very valuable. And what happened? The pujari stole it and ran away with it and sold it, But then 1 year later, maybe, he came back and he bought that tilak back. He re-bought it from wherever it had gone. And he came back and he asked Guru Maharaj, will you forgive me? Can I come back? Guru Maharaj said, yes, you can come back. And he gave Guru Maharaj the tilak. And Guru Maharaj said, Krishna can't wear this again because you have enjoyed with it now. He will not wear again this. So generally we're not using like real gems and gold and because people may steal it. But
does it go in a jewelry box?
Yeah, but Krishna's flute, it is solid gold, but you won't get so much. It's small because Krishna's small here. Yeah. Then you won't get so much if anyone wants to steal that. We hope nobody wants to steal that. But
somebody came and grabbed the money box.
Yeah, they take the money box. You get more money out of the money box. That's why you see the money box isn't there anymore. Some men came and stole it, ran down the road with it. But we have we've got one fixed to the wall now, and it also has an alarm in it. Sometimes when people put money in it, it goes beep, beep. It's alarmed. But there you are, yeah. So, are we ready for the arati?
You say, we don't hear you.
Arati time. Arati time. Okay.
Next one in this verse.
Jai Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki jai. Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Radha Shama Sundar Giridhari Ju ki jai. Shri Harinama Sankirtan ki jai. Itai Gaura Premanande.